Hey guys, Gerald Leonard here from Hawke Media. I am the Director of Client Strategy, and I'm here with Yoni, who is on our Amazon team. Yoni, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Hey, I'm Yoni. I'm the manager of Amazon Marketing Services here at Hawke. Been here for just under a year and super excited to hop on with you, Gerald, and really get to talk about what we've been able to do here.
Awesome. Well, today we're going to be talking about a supplement brand that focuses predominantly on superfood powders. Specifically about how over the last 6 months, we've helped them break through the revenue ceiling that they've been hitting for about a year and a half. So Yoni, I'm going to let you give us a little bit more details on what we've been doing for this client.
Yeah, absolutely. So they were onboarded about 5 months ago, and the biggest pain point that they were having was, as you said, revenue growth. They kind of hit a wall at around 75 to 100K monthly, and they really wanted to break that barrier. So the first thing we did was really identify the pain points. We went through their advertising, their conversion rates, obviously really did an in-depth dive. And there were a few things that I noticed. Number one is on the advertising platform. They had run a lot of funnels, but all it had really come down to was their branded keywords. So they are a larger brand, so they have a lot of brand awareness. And because of that, all of these funnels had really diversified and gotten down to just their branded keywords, utilizing their brand name. So I realized that there was a ceiling there that was being hit because all of their audiences that they were targeting were already brand aware, and they weren't opening themselves up to a brand new audience. So that was the first pain point. The second thing that they were really missing on was that they were really targeting a detox, keyword heavy focus. And really what they were missing out on was this superfood, organic, whole market that they had untapped. So what we went and did some back end keyword research, really got a good understanding of, what it was that they needed to be targeting so that we could get some of that unbrand aware audiences and expand their revenue from there.
Amazing. Yeah, I mean, sounds like it's been a pretty successful couple months. Can you talk a little bit about what performance has looked like since the COVID-19 situation has come upon us?
Yeah, absolutely. So because they are, especially in that kind of health and supplement category, initially we really saw a big spike. It's definitely leveled out a little bit more in terms of revenue generation, but we saw some really good things right off the bat, right? People were really freaking out and wanted to ensure that they were boosting their immunity. So we did a bunch of COVID campaigns specifically targeting immune boosting keywords essentially within Amazon. And that was huge. It really bumped us up. And then the biggest thing that we're seeing in terms of actual KPIs that are really, moving around and changing, CPCs are way down. We're seeing a lot of the market move away. There really is a lot of fear that's going on amongst the competition. And so CPCs are really driving down, which is great for those of us that are continuing to market within Amazon. And the other thing that we saw was a huge spike in conversion rates initially, right? People were just immediately trying to buy, especially health food supplements. And that's really leveled out a little bit. So there's been some different variables. And I think the biggest thing during such a volatile time is to have a really big, holistic approach. Really understand the KPIs, right, on a more holistic level. Don't analyze them on a day-to-day basis because it's such a fluctuating market, but really look at them holistically, month to month, bi-weekly, etc.
Some great insights. On the topic of Amazon, I know that a lot of supplement brands in general typically struggle with the decision on whether or not they're going to focus just on Amazon or whether or not they want to have a direct-to-consumer channel as well. Although you are obviously an expert on the Amazon side of things, curious to hear your perspective on this client or other supplement clients you've worked on in terms of the split between, say, Amazon and their website or direct-to-consumer channels.
Yeah, absolutely. So as I said, they are pretty large, and now we're hitting about 150K revenue, directly on Amazon, but they do about 250K directly from their website as well. So there's definitely room on that side, right? There's Google SEM, Facebook, and then using Amazon. The one thing that I will say that's really exciting right now is that Amazon has come out with a beta called Amazon Attribution, and this is something that really gives people an idea of how all of their ads are doing on a blended KPI level. So what we've done specifically with Detox, we've had a lot of our Facebook and SEM, funnel driving to their direct website. But a lot of that traffic that's being bottlenecked at the end, that's really not flipping. We've been able now to launch campaigns that are taking those, add to cards, but haven't actually converted over to Amazon and see if we can break down that barrier on Amazon. And now that we have this Amazon attribution, we can actually attribute those purchases within Amazon to those initial campaigns on Facebook or Google. So it's super cool. It gives us a really bigger, broader view of what's going on within their KPIs, and gives us a little bit more flexibility to really create like a multi-channel network of advertising.
Yeah, I know that the Amazon attribution from offline or off Amazon sources has always been a tough nut to crack for a lot of these brands.
Absolutely.
So what it sounds like is that even though the direct consumer channel is humming along, they're obviously doing pretty well themselves. They're still leaning into Amazon. And on top of some of their other campaigns that are driving traffic to their website, they're also supporting any of that additional traffic with a pretty substantial Amazon spend as well.
Yes, absolutely. So, and I think that the biggest thing to really mention here is that what we're seeing is actually, when clients first launch on Amazon, assuming that they have a direct-to-consumer website and are just launching on Amazon, we don't see a lot of cannibalization of that traffic over to Amazon. Typically, what we see is market growth, right? It's a whole nother revenue channel. So it's not cannibalizing necessarily a ton of their current clients, right, or current customers, but instead it's opening up this whole other platform. People who tend to buy only on Amazon tend to only buy on Amazon, and they're pretty brand agnostic, right? They're going to find a brand that works best for them, looking at reviews, looking, et cetera. So, what we're seeing is that there's huge opportunity for growth. And I want to, this is really like a big pain point that I see with a lot of clients when they're starting, with Amazon, is that they really have a big concern that they're going to start taking away a lot of that revenue from their direct website, which obviously typically has larger margins and things like that. But I really, really iterate and constantly talk about, and there's data to back this, that there's less cannibalization and more just opportunity for growth. It's a whole new revenue stream that opens up.
Amazing. That sounds great. Well, I really appreciate some of those insights. Are there any other unique methods or anything you can shine light on in terms of how you were able to identify some of these new markets or keywords when you were working with this client in particular?
Yeah, absolutely. So something that I did that was, obviously we always try and think a little bit outside the box, get a little creative here, right? So what I did is I did actually a reverse Casein for some of their top competitors. And what that does is it takes the data from their top competitors and identifies where they're ranking in terms of keywords, within Amazon. So looking at their top, 5 other superfood competitors, right? I was identifying what are the biggest keywords and where are they driving all of their traffic, right? Where are they converting? And from identifying a lot of those keywords, I was able to build out these broad funnels that were targeting them on a broad level, right? And start moving, funneling these keywords down from there. But it gave me a really good basis. As I said, the biggest thing when we were running the funnel from the auto campaigns that initially started and what they had seen is that, it was all going to branded. So being able to kind of go outside the norm and build out a funnel, based on what their competitors were doing, was really helpful and gave us so much data and information.
Amazing. And just to make sure that we're clear for those who don't know, would you mind breaking down just a little bit between the difference of a branded and non-branded term, what specifically as it comes to Amazon?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll give an example of a big company, right? Like Lego. So Lego, for example, right? They're going to be running campaigns within Amazon, right? And when people search Lego, right, they're clearly searching for the brand Lego. That being said, building blocks would be an unbranded keyword because they are generically looking for a Lego type. So that's a basic example. Branded is targeting a brand name specifically, and an unbranded is targeting generic keyword search terms.
Perfect. Thanks for that. We'll appreciate the time today, Yoni.